And so being able to separate those and then essentially use that top goal as motivation and that be it.
Yeah. Don't let it overshadow the everyday steps that are necessary that you're going to have to continue to take.
Right.
You have to be a very active participant in your own health and wellness, right? Like without action, there is no wellness.
Right. And I've been, I say victim to that. I've fallen weak in that before where I get really excited about this really big thing, big goal I want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And
he really does, guys.
I do. I get so excited about it. And so I build it up in my head.
Yeah.
And then I start figuring out, okay, well, how can we get there?
Yeah.
And so I start making plans to get there. And I take the first step. I might take the second step. And then I realize, like, okay, this is going to take longer than I thought it was going to take. Let me go back and just start doing research. Let me go back and figure out what else I need to do. Mm-hmm. And then I find myself sidetracking from the next step I need to take. And I'm just trying to figure out, how can I shortcut to the top? What am I doing wrong that's not getting me there in the speed that I'm expecting myself to get there?
Right.
I think we all do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And fitness might be the thing, and this is a theory that I've seen.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing that teaches us that more than anything else at how wrong that thought process is. It's because you feel it.
Yeah.
And there is no cheating it. There is no cheat code towards it.
Yeah. You have to put in the work.
You have to put in the work.
Yeah.
And, people start at different places.
Yeah.
Right? Some people, maybe they were raised with health conscious parents. Mm-hmm. And so they grew up at a very young age healthy and they were in sports and it just looks easy to them. But they just grew up that way and that's where they started. Some people have really, really good genetics.
Right.
And it seems like it's quicker for them.
Right.
But for most people, it's not.
Right.
It's not quick. And we weren't raised that way.
Right.
We've had to learn it. We've had to struggle.
Well, and not only that, but even those people with the genetic benefits or the parents that were health conscious, these same people are still setting goals. And they're still applying themselves as well. It might just look different than where you personally are. And that's just that friendly reminder that what they're doing is none of your business. Okay, it's not your monkey, not your zoo. I love that. I love when people say that. I use it a lot. Because at the end of the day, health, wellness, and fitness is you. And it's your journey. And it's your goals. And it's your mountain. And it's your decision whether you're going to take those daily actions and get to benefit from the evolution of change here. The podcast, we started out talking about that, this being one of them. Some things were decisive and intentional, and then other things we organically let play out. And I think that's the same application that can be applied to health, wellness, and fitness. That, yes, there's some goals in mind. There's that mountaintop. There's these steps. But from day to day, that can really look different. And it's okay to be a little flexible when it comes to allowing the evolution of change to take place. Like I said, having the guests, not something that we initially talked about, but we organically let that take place. And it was very beneficial. I don't know. I just...
Well, I would agree with you, yes. And I think the only way that we arrived to figuring out how that worked is through the organics of it happening.
Yes.
And the only way for that to have happened is for us to have taken that first initial step.
Yes.
And then been willing to take another step.
Yes.
And then another step without knowing exactly where the mountaintop was. Because guess what? Like, as we do it, the mountaintop changes.
It does.
No matter what. No matter if we get to the top and we're like, wow, we just accomplished this really big thing. Maybe we hit our goals. Like, we've sat down and written out our goals of like, okay, how many people do we want listening to our podcast? How many guests do we want on our podcast?
Right.
We set these goals for ourselves, but guess what? We talked about it before. As soon as you hit it, you're just going to set the next goal. You're just going to set the next big thing which aims you, it orients you so that you can take those steps. But actually taking those steps allows you to discover the new things and the things that work and the things that don't work, and how you can overcome that daily monotony,
Right.
right? Of actually doing it and feeling like you're moving in the direction that you've set.
I was just going to say that, you know, I think at the end of the day, that's the beauty of life. You know, there's no linear way. And another girlfriend, while talking to the one who was struggling for every couple weeks, she was trying to advise her and said, what I have found that works for me is learning to really love working out versus feeling like it's a monotonous chore or task that I need to do. And I think going through life, if we can find the beauty in some of this and the reward in some of this daily stuff, we will be a lot happier for sure. You know what I mean? And we'll be in a mental place where we're excited to pursue these things. Because we haven't really, it's the pursuit of it. And I don't know that we've talked too much about excitement throughout all this, but I think that we all have an opportunity to use life and the beauty of it and to find the positive of it. And so that this journey and this next goal and this hill seems more rewarding than you would realize in those daily steps, right? Versus again, that monotonous chore, as my friend described it. And I was like, oh, I don't see it that way. And I was like, oh, because I've been doing it long enough, you know, and have gotten to that place. And so the mental aspect is so important here.
I'm glad you brought that up because I actually have two perspectives on this now.
Oh boy.
And you just sparked the idea of the second.
Okay.
So I've always tried to figure out how, and part of this pertains to business because business is a very monotonous thing. The basic things usually get you the most reward.
Yes.
Right? And fitness can be that many ways. Fitness, if we're breaking it down, is it, whether you call it consistency or monotony, the same basic exercises compounded to make harder, what makes you 80% of your results.
Right.
Same with nutrition, same, monotonous food group that once you find what works, doing more of that gets you more success, and doing it better gets you more success. And so I would argue a point that sometimes we need to embrace some of that monotony. Sometimes that next evolutionary step is, I haven't been consistent yet because we want it too fast. We want it too cheap. And so we just need to embrace part of that monotony.
Yeah.
Without expecting to see our life change, because we've been going to the shiny object syndrome. We've been going through that, like trying to take the shortcut, doing the fad, doing the quick fix, the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been working.
Hasn't been working. Keywords here, guys.
So we need to do more of the monotonous, not fun stuff to start making some progress, to start actually climbing up that mountain.
Right.
And so that would be a counter to your point, is that I think we need to embrace some of that monotony.
Yeah.
Now, I say that.
But what if embracing that monotony, and for my example, and for my friend's example, is what's led to that mental mind shift where now you actually enjoy those daily tasks, right? And that's that catalyst. Yeah. So I'm not that person because I very much enjoy working out and all the things, but I know for my friend, she was definitely that person where she had to embrace the monotony of it, the boringness of it. She felt like it was a chore. She tells me she adds it to her calendar. Like she adds it to her work calendar, and she won't do anything else within this time an hour time, and won't let herself do anything else until she's completed it, even if she has other tasks she needs to do. So that's like something that she has to do, right? It's on her calendar. It's on her chore list.
Okay.
And then now she's come to the place where she's made it likable, where she actually enjoys it.
Okay, so it's not so much that she was combating that monotony. She just
No.
changed her perspective of the monotony.
Yes, and I think that's that mind shift that I would remind people of, is like, we can get there. Again, it's that evolution of change, and somebody might wake up one day and go, actually, this isn't as bad as I thought, walking for 30 minutes in the beautiful weather. And you know what I mean? Like, something as simple as
Yeah.
that.
So how do we do that? Like, what, for her,
Yeah.
what was it other than just like, getting them organized with making sure she put it on her calendar? Was it like, she did it, she just forced herself to do it consistently for a certain amount of time until she realized the benefits? Was it like a moment where she was like, aha, like that felt
Right.
good?
Right.
What for her, do you know? Like,
I'm not sure, but when we were all talking today in the group about it, she insinuated that she had found a way to enjoy it. And you know what? Now that I think about it, we have had conversations where she was like, I found influencers and fitness individuals that I liked their music with their circuits. I found that I liked, maybe plyometrics more. I found that I liked this versus this. And so just that journey of, even within the fitness realm, there's so many complexities of being able to work out and get healthy, that she had to do some searching,
Yeah.
even if it was the music. Another big thing is she doesn't like going to gyms. So they turned her and her husband turned one of their rooms into a workout room. And now that she has found what she enjoys doing workout wise, she equipped that space, because now she's comfortable in that space. She plays the music she wants to, or she follows videos of girls and influencers that she does enjoy working out to, and she likes their music. She likes their approach. I know that I have some clients that they appreciate a more factual, analytical approach, like, tell me how kinesiology works, tell me the benefits. And then there's other people who are like, I want to be able to shut off my mind and just cycle. And
Yeah.
you tell me on my Peloton what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think navigating that has been, for her, the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And again, guys, this goes back to, she didn't get there in one step. This has been a very long process to get there.
Yeah. But that, she had the willingness to try.
For sure.
And that was maybe her first step, was saying, hey, I need to figure out how to like this.
Yes.
I need to figure out how to enjoy this.
Yes.
I think a lot of people miss that because they think they have to do something.
Yes.
I think they have to lift weights, or they think they have to run
Right.
and do cardio. And it's like, those are the two that get propped up the most.
Right.
There's so many other facets
Yes.
in ways, especially today, like with all the resources that we have, there's really no excuse to not figure out, what's an activity that I just enjoy doing. I've had clients over the years where, I don't know if I would say they enjoyed lifting weights, but they tolerated lifting weights.
Yeah.
And part of that was because of their relationship with me. So they had that accountability. They had the willingness to show up because, well, they were paying for it. They committed to me and they committed to themselves. And, we worked on those things together for them. So that helped immensely. But they didn't just love, lifting weights like a bodybuilder or a powerlifter would, right? What they did love, what they discovered they loved, they were gamers. They both loved to play games. Video games and board games alike.
Okay.
That was a big part of their relationship together. So these particular clients were a couple. And they messaged me one day. They said, hey, we have, what was the Xbox thing with the camera? Do you know what I'm talking about? Kinect? Was that what it was called?
Oh, I don't know.
Kinetic?
I'm not.
It might be. It was like the Wii, but
Oh, okay.
Xbox's next generation of it. And they found a game that tracked their movement
Uh-huh.
that they could play. It was an exercise dance game.
Yes.
So they could play it together and compete with each other. And so something that they love to do as a couple, which was just game together and compete with each other, they found a way to relate it into something that mattered
Yes.
on a deeper level, which is like their health, and they're very aware of this at that time.
Right.
But they had to search for it. They had to go out and try it.
Yes.
And lo and behold, they discovered this thing that I never would have thought of.
Oh, man.
Like I'm
Makes me think I have a client, and that's the thing. She, a different element aside from maybe the person who just sees it as a chore and just doesn't want to work out is the person that is in a mental position where they're depressed and they're fatigued and they're overwhelmed and they're anxious. And I have a client, and she's that person, and she knows she's that person, and she's worked on it for years. She's changed medications. She's tried this. She's tried that. And finally, her and her husband, they also like to game. It's more her husband than her, but she tries to be very involved, which led her to going, I will get these Wii games that make me physically get up. And so she found games that worked for her, even if she's only doing it for short bursts of time, that she actually enjoys, that has gotten her physically up and active. And the beauty of it, we've talked about this in previous episodes, is not only is she physically moving, which is awesome, but that's giving her that dopamine, oxytocin, and guess what? Now her depression is going down, and she could do it 5 minutes a day, and she'll slowly increase, over time, and or depending how she feels that day. Some days she doesn't do it, but the idea is she, and again, it goes back to she had to try. She had to be in a place where she said, I am done. I'm done with this. I know I can't put myself in a gym. I know I can't put myself in this environment or do XYZ that somebody else is asking me to do. But what can I do? And how can I make it enjoyable? And how can I make this beneficial? And now you look at her. I mean, I'm always so, I'm so proud. Like, getting to be a part of that journey with my clients and just see their mental shifts, not just their physical, but the mental shift where they actually enjoy something that I've always loved.
Right.
Yeah. And they love it in a different way because they're doing different things to get there. But also they love it because it's helping them and benefiting them.
Yeah.